Hello everyone and welcome to another car profile, otherwise known as the BoP test, and we're here with the Toyota FT-1 VGT Gran Turismo car. Of course this was made quite a while ago in terms of design, but it's obviously moving forwards to current times, and now this is the design of the Supra, the new Supra that's coming out. Now in terms of this Group 3 car, we're looking at a front-engined rear-wheel drive car. It's also turbocharged as well, which obviously makes it a little bit more interesting, of course, when the turbo comes on and off, and that is a big thing with this car. So what you'll find is that gears are very key to this car. Other cars not so much, especially with recent times with the Corvette and the Dodge Viper. With this car, it is a very key requirement to driving this fast. So let's get to Brands Hatch. First of all, as you can see, we're starting lap number 12, so we're quite far into the session, and we've got a 22.4 as our optimum at the moment. As you can see, I'm in 4th gear here, but I lose out a little bit there. That is more of a 3rd gear corner. It's very on the edge there between 3rd and 4th. We're at Brands Hatch, of course, to test the handling of the car, and also slight undulations, curbs here, of course, with Graham Hill Bend. The car did have issues there. As you can see, we're quite far behind at the moment, so you can see that, or imagine that this lap's actually going to be pretty quick in terms of the second half of the lap, because we are indeed 2 tenths down at the moment. As we continue on down this straight, one thing I did notice is I think this car is struggling on power. And we'll see that more of the other circuits, but I instantly found it here because actually, in terms of handling, this car's fantastic. You know, there's no understeer at all. There is issues with oversteer due to the turbo and the fact that it's FR, but in terms of handling, it is amazing. I mean, I could literally chuck this car into a corner and it would go. There was no understeer, which is why I assume it was pretty good here at Brands Hatch. So you can see we've already knocked a 10th off of the optimum again, 122.3, and just coming through that last corner, we're actually going to knock it down into a 0.2, and we're going to get a 122.270. Of course, the lap times are 122.6. We obviously could have probably gone a little bit faster in terms of fastest lap, but yeah, I didn't. As you see, the best sectors aren't showing, but they did show at the bottom. I think that's because I restarted. Literally, I started lap 1 and crashed, so I restarted it, and then it was fine. But now we're going to Dragon Trail. Of course, here we're testing curbs, stability at the end of sector 2, of course, with the right-hander, and it's a very fast circuit, so we will see the downfall of this car, in my mind, which is its actual pace. As I say, in terms of handling, it's great. There's no understeer. You can really just absolutely fly with this car, and you'll see that in sector 2 here. So we've got no issues with curbs. As you can see, we're straight onto the curb, no issue at all. We get 32.8. We've been as low as, I think, 32.5 with some cars. But this is where this car really flies. Sort of high-speed corners, it just chuck it in and it will go. So coming through his left-hander, you can see we're still gaining time there. 2.5 tenths up now as we come to this right-hander. Now, this is a test of stability, of course, on acceleration. And let's see how we do here. Ooh, half throttle there for quite a while, so not as good as other cars, and that's due to the turbo, and you can see that in the bottom right hand side. The turbo comes on a lot and then goes off. As you can see, through the chicane, absolutely fly. One thing to note with this car, actually, this camera makes the car look smaller than it actually is. So I clicked the chicane a few times just because the car's actually wider than it looks. It's a bit weird like that. As you can see, we're nearly 4 tenths up on our fastest lap. And like I always say on every car profile, we are actually after our optimum. Excuse me, optimum, not necessarily our fastest, but they're actually going to match in this situation at 136.930. Look at that, we get another duplicate middle sector. Kind of nice. It showed you we were on point there as we head to Interlagos. Interlagos, I was expecting the car to do very well here. As I say, I found out that its handling is amazing. Struggled here in the Senna S with the curbs. So obviously, undulations, having a little bit of an issue with that, and the fact that it's on a curb as well, and also the turbo lag, or not turbo lag, sort of going on the turbo, it's got issues there with initial acceleration. Coming to this left-hander, all good. I did click that dark green stuff a few times, no huge issues with that. I know some cars have issues, no huge issues here with that. But even so, we continue on. Slight oversteer moments in this corner. Again, I think that's just the power coming on. That's the one thing you do have to watch out about. And with this car, you are looking to rev it quite high. Coming into here, Just got to be careful on exit a little bit again, just because of that turbo. But we're all good there as we come into this right-hander now. Occasionally I drop to first gear here, but I stay in second at this point. As we accelerate out, very careful on the bump here. And through we go. I did do a slight short shift in there occasionally, which worked out fine. But a 44.8, so not too bad in that middle. We have seen cars go faster. It's struggling with that turbo, I think. The fact that it comes on, the pressure is quite high anyway. You see it there, it jumps to nearly 1. I think that initial push just causes the rear to come out a little bit. We cross the line and we get a 31.0. Our optimum goes to a 30.984, so not too bad. Breaking into that 30 barrier. We're sort of with where the majority of cars are at the moment as we head to the Nurburgring. Nurburgring, of course, being the balanced circuit that we look at. Now, I was expecting this car to do amazing in this first sector. As I've said already, it's a handling car. It handles itself very well once you understand the gears and how the car reacts in certain rev ranges, of course, because, as I say, the turbo is a bit of an issue. It kicks in, the rear can fly out. But weirdly, it's not actually that good. And the main reason being is this corner here. It struggled coming out of here. You can see I'm on half throttle quite a while. You can see the car dancing a lot. And that's just because the power's coming in and there's a bit of bounciness in there as well with the curbs and stuff. So we only get 36.1. Whereas we've been in the 35s for quite a few of the cars. So I was surprised with that, I will be honest. I was expecting 35. In fact, I was expecting it to be the fastest there, but it wasn't. As we come down to the hairpin now, so this is sort of an example of where if you get it right with the gears and it's in the right sort of range, you can just full throttle out, no issues at all there coming out there. You get a 1 minute 2.2 there. Now we've been in the 1 minute 1.7, so we know we're 5 tenths down, and we know looking at our sector 1 time that it's mainly sector 1 that we're losing out on there. Going to this left-hander, absolutely no problems at all through here. You can full throttle pretty much straight away, and then into the right-hander. And as we come through, the car is fairly flat through here. Occasionally, oversteered a little bit. As you see, we're falling behind our ghost, so you know exactly what's going to happen at the chicane. We're going to absolutely annihilate it as we head up there now. The chicane, it actually likes the chicane, believe it or not. It's a very good car for this chicane. So coming in, just through we go. And look at that, full throttle, no issues again, because we're at the point where the horsepower and the torque are sort of nice, in a nice area. Coming to towards the line now, I think our optimum drops a little bit. What does it drop to? Yeah, 55.3 there, so not too bad. Oh, we actually get down to a 0.213. I did a faster lap later on. So, Suzuka, another balanced circuit now. Here, I expected it to do well as well, especially in the first sector. But interesting point in this one. So, coming into the first corner, no issues with trail braking. Of course, that's one thing we can test here with this first corner. Absolutely no issues at all. I could manage it every lap, no problem. As you see, we're quite early on being lap 5 because we absolutely nailed one of the corners, which we'll get to shortly. Going through here, again, no real issues. Occasionally the rear would step out a little bit just because of that turbo again. But again, no issues. It's left-hander, no problem at all. Even just half throttle there lets you get round nice and easy. And as you can see, we're 3.5 temps up basically as we head towards Tidgney 1 and 2. Now the car is absolutely rapid in this section. Tidgney 1 and Tidgney 2. Not sure why. Perhaps it's as I mentioned at Dragon Trail, high-speed stuff. It is flying. I'll get a 19.0 there. In fact, we're in the 18.9s as our actual optimum. Coming to here, this is where we absolutely nail a corner. Just coming out of here, we absolutely nail it for some reason on this lap compared to all the others. Because I think there's a bit more time in there. But I could never do it because I nailed the hairpin. And that's going to happen in some of these BoP tests where you just absolutely nail a corner and you can't improve it. But that then negates any others. Issues as well. Going to spoon, no huge issues here really, but there's a slight issue on exit. Again, it's that turbo, so it just kicks in a little bit. It can cause issues as we accelerate now to our speed trap that we're using at Suzuka, which is the cones at the 130R. Now we're going to get 155, just 155, as you see there, just clipped it, and then we're back down. As you see, we maintain a very high speed through that corner. It's a very good car for handling, as I've mentioned a few times now, especially in the high speed stuff. Coming out of here, accelerating out, no huge issues as we head towards the line, and I think this is a 158. Don't quote me on that though. Let's find out. It is a 58, and our optimum's a 58.672. So not too bad of a car, and as you can see, that comes in at 8th position. I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's where the Dodge Viper got last time. So overall, it got just a 24 dead, just missed out on the 23s there. Power and weight 101, 103, and I give it a risk indicator of 4/5. Now you're probably wondering why, because it's a handling car. It's at turbo. It can be very iffy. I'm not sure the best word to use, but sometimes your car will go flying, and it's not an easy car to catch, as you can see by the comments, and it's very gear dependent. So if you're not like revving it quite high, you will lose a lot of time with this car. So you do need to rev it a lot. It's an ultra handling car, I've called it, because literally it'll just fly everywhere. You point it, it will go there, especially in the faster stuff as well. And it struggles occasionally on exit, as I've mentioned, due to the power band being quite vertical, and the turbo, which is all obviously linked, turbo power, etc. So that can cause issues, and it's dramatic oversteer, and it's very hard to catch as well. Now, this spreadsheet is going to be available on Google Spreadsheets. Hopefully, as this video goes live, there'll be a link in the description if it is there, and you can see all this, and actually more tabs than this as well. You can see the track breakdown individually as well. Hope you enjoyed that video playlist there of some of the other car profiles if you want to check them out. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.